Jackie Brown. Hi, huge movie fanatic Nate coming back at you with another movie review. This time for Quentin Tarantino's fourth film, Jackie Brown. Now, if you've seen my Argento's Dracula 3D review, you know that I bought, what was it? What was yesterday? Monday night? Or just Monday. I was at Best Buy and I bought for $11.99 Argento's Dracula 3D Blu-ray for $11.99, and also picked up the Jackie Brown Blu-ray for $4.99. I previously bought Jackie Brown DVD, that DVD set that came out. I think it's a double disc set. I think it was the initial release of Jackie Brown that came out. I bought it used at half price many years back. So I actually first got the VHS for $1, but I never watched it. And then I found the DVD, and I figured, I'll see it widescreen. Because at the time I thought it would have been wide like all of the rest of Tarantino's movies. But it isn't. It's the only Tarantino movie that's like the 1:8:5 ratio that'll fit perfectly in your 16:9 TV. So I just watched it. I just rewatched Jackie Brown. I just watched the Blu-ray for the first time, and I got to tell you, this ain't a Blu-ray review, but I can very briefly say maybe I can't say it. I can briefly say the Blu-ray is stunning, positively stunning, and looks great. And holy crap, the definition of, people's faces, it's almost just too much definition. and things, but a very sharp looking Blu-ray for sure, and I'd highly recommend it. If you don't have it, obviously if you're a fan you probably already have it, but I figured $4.99, even though I don't love this movie, it's actually my least favorite Tarantino movie. I figured, well, I kind of want to revisit it anyway, and I could always review it too, and $5 for the Blu-ray's fine, and let's have this on Blu-ray, so I do. So like I say, I just rewatched it on Blu-ray now, and I'm like, well, it's like 1 in the morning, and I'm like, what's the point of waiting to review it tomorrow? I just watched it now. So as you can hear, it's a beautiful night. I mean, you can't hear it's a beautiful night, but it's like 64 degrees, no humidity. It's a beautiful August night, and you can probably hear in Minnesota around this time of year, what I call the August night sounds come out, which are these, whatever the hell bugs these are that make this kind of sustained just sound. So I kind of like that, and especially when the windows are open and stuff, to hear that ambient. I prefer some kind of bug night sound that, opposed to just like nothing, which is a lot of, I think, majority of this is the majority of July tends to be nothing but quiet at night. But anyway, I'm here to review Jackie Brown, Holy Toledo. So, as I've already stated, this is my least favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. I just rewatched it now, as you know, and I gotta tell you that it's, compared to, the first two movies he's done, those were kind of, those were kind of very playful. I mean, extremely playful. And having just rewatched Jackie Brown, this is, I think, the third time I've seen Jackie Brown just now. And I can definitely tell you, and I just having rewatched, because I got the Blu-ray of Reservoir Dogs for $7.99 at Half Price Books a while back, and I just watched that, and that Blu-ray is beautiful as well. I'd highly recommend it, but you already have it probably if you're a fan. But so I just rewatched Reservoir Dogs, and I gotta watch Pulp Fiction though. But I have that pretty well memorized in my head. And compared to Dogs and Fiction, this is so, it's so serious. I mean, it's not that there's no humor in it at all. I just don't understand. It's really weird that this is the only movie out of everything he's done for me where it feels like it was almost like someone trying to impersonate Tarantino did it. Because, first of all, you have the mood of it, in my opinion. I wouldn't say is completely different, but just that amazing dialogue for me isn't really there. It's like the movie. It seems like someone, Quentin Tarantino, was just went went off to south of France or something and hired someone to make a movie for him, pretending to make a movie that is like a movie I'd make, and I'll put my name on it and just say it's my movie because I'm too, I'm rich now after doing Pulp Fiction, and I just want to spend time in the south of France. And I authorize you to make this movie under my name. I won't be in the States, so I can't make my cameo in it. But I think I want to say that voice, that answering machine voice, could very well be his, but he could have phoned that in from the south of France. It's just that this movie has a weird vibe for me, and it seems like it's very much someone who is trying to emulate unsuccessfully Quentin Tarantino as we knew him, with Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. The dialogue for me isn't as snazzy as it usually is. The simplicity of the way it's shot, although it's shot in a kind of cool way, there's not a lot of photography and a lot of shots in the movie that really make a statement like shots in Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction did. A lot of shots made statements in those movies for me, and this one is shot, although it's not shot bad, and it's not like conventional, it's a lot of side shots with people talking, and I like that, it's because it's different. It is, probably better than your average movie, which is just shot normally, or if you want to say normally or whatever, conventionally. But I gotta tell you, it's like he phoned this one in. This is the only, I believe it's the only, I'm not 100%, but I believe it's the only Tarantino movie. Well, I don't know. If it's not the only one, it's at least the first one that's based on another piece of work. I don't know if, I guess I don't know enough about his more recent movies to know if those are based on other already existing pieces of work. But at any rate, it's the first Tarantino movie based on a book or whatever. And I gotta tell you, man, the first 20 minutes where it's like we're introduced to Robert De Niro and the characters of the beach, whatever her name is, the beach girl and Samuel L. Jackson and stuff. The first 20 minutes of the movie is just that, and getting that one guy to jail, bailing him out, and just, oh my God, it's like that first bit where it's like he goes to that black guy's apartment and puts him in the trunk and all that stuff and shoots him. By the time that scene is done, it's like 22 minutes into the movie, and I still, having seen it 3 times, don't understand why that it was even in the movie. Was that to show how dangerous he was or something? I don't know. It just seems so slow and tedious to me every time I watch it. And even the trailer makes it look like, how, like, I don't know, a lot of Tarantino stuff is gimmicky in a good way or cutesy in a really kind of a cool way, how the trailer's like, Jackie Brown, that the trailer is like how this movie should be. The movie is not as cool, in my opinion, as the Jackie Brown trailer is. It's just, oh my stars. To me, this movie, it's really weird, So I'm going to go 2.5 stars. I think that's my lowest rating for a Tarantino. I think pretty much everything else that we've reviewed, because me and Matt reviewed Django Unchained, and I believe I gave that 3 stars, and I believe I gave Reservoir Dogs 3 stars as well. And I'm not going to tell you my star ratings for the other ones. And we've reviewed Kill Bill 1 and 2 as well, which I think I gave 4 stars to each. So the ratings for fiction, is that the only one left? Oh, and Bastards shall be secret until I do the reviews for those movies. But it reminds me of like The Killing, the Stanley Kubrick movie, The Killing, where you just go through so many details. I don't know what about this movie. It's just, to me, it seems so devoid of the normal Tarantino charm, I think, is the biggest thing for me about this movie. Even the songs that are picked aren't nearly as killer as the music he normally picks for the movies. I swear he just phoned this movie in. You know, and if I piss people off, I apologize. You know, it's just my feelings about the movie. I don't claim to say this is what the movie is. I'm saying this is what I feel about the movie. I just figure, I just feel like it's overly long for what it has to say, and you know, oh man, I just feel like, I don't know, it's just too long for what it has to say at the end of the day. And, you know, and I'm not saying it's badly done. I mean, it's well done, but the thing is, I don't feel like, compared to all the Tarantino stuff that exists now, I'm not saying just the first 3 movies, but everything that exists now, for me, it's easily just the least interesting, the least creative, and just like, oh boy, you know. And the one thing that I will say is, having grown up with the movie The Black Hole, the Disney movie from '79, you know, I grew up with Robert Forster, and it was great to see him in it. And apparently, I looked at the box, not that I give a shit about Academy Awards, but apparently he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and, you know, he is really great in the movie. And the one thing that I really like about the movie, one of the things that's the strongest for me, is about his character in relation to his little whatever crush or whatever it is about the character of Jackie Brown, you know, and how the fact on that one night, the night that he, you know, bailed her out, was the night that he decided to get out of the business, which I don't know if he's going to do or not, you know, because at the end of the movie he's, you know, continuing to do it, but I don't know if he's still getting out of it. But the Robert Forster stuff in relation to and I felt like that in a way wasn't embellished on enough, but the fact that he did, you know, go out and buy the tape of that song and listened to that was kind of a way to embellish it without them being together. But for me, that's probably my favorite thing about the movie was the Robert Forster's reaction, how she really touched his life, and the very tragic ending, which is actually really kind of hard for me to watch, because it's like, why? And you want to ask him on the screen. He never answers me, so I don't know if he can't hear me, but you want to say, why don't you go with her, man? I don't know if he feels too old or too inadequate, or maybe it don't work down there anymore. I don't know, but I think she would be understanding whatever his reason is for not going. But the 3 times I've seen it, is just like the ending is so tragic in the way he tells that person. And I've had that happen at work myself, where I've been flirting it up with some babe or some girl customer, you know, and I've had to help a customer, you know, and it's just kind of like that, and then she'd leave, you know. So I understand that when they were like kissing, making out, making some smoochies, you know, and then the phone rang and she left, you know. So I understand that pain, but to me the pain of him like saying, can you call back in half an hour? You think he's gonna run out there and run in her arms and grab her and be like, and bend her over, you know. But instead he just turns around, walks out of focus, which is cool, and walks into the back, and you just see him just go like that, and it's so tragic. So for me, the best part of the movie is that Robert Forster, Pam Grier element, which is not very explored, but maybe it doesn't need to be. You know, like I say, just the fact that he went out and bought that tape, and you heard that play like a couple times, shows that, you know, the impact that she made on his life. But one thing I want to say is in closing, is the opening credits are just badass, and the song that played is just badass. You know, where she's just walks into frame, and then the background's just going by. You know, when the movie starts like that, you figured, oh man, this is just, you know, 3rd time's a charm. Tarantino's going to do it again, and, you know, unfortunately for me, like I say, it doesn't really do that. But that's just me. I don't expect to, you know, potentially get some hate on this review. It would be interesting, of course, to know what Matt thinks about it. But oh well. So that's my take on Jackie Brown, 2.5 stars. My lowest rating of a Tarantino movie. I'm glad I have the Blu-ray because it's gorgeous. But it just for me, it at the end of the day, you know, for as long as it is, it just, to me, it doesn't warrant its length. And like I say, the first 20 minutes, and the thing that I think is interesting about De Niro's character is it's just like, and part of me wants to say it's completely like wastes Robert De Niro's potential, but one thing I do like about that is it's a very realistic, I think it's a very realistic like ex-con or con portrayal of just this guy who comes out, he really got no personality, and he's just like, you wanna fuck, okay, and then 3 minutes later he's like, and then, whatever. So as much as I think Robert De Niro is completely wasted in this movie, at the same time, I feel like he portrays probably a very realistic version of like a con, someone, an ex-con or whatever, someone who just got out of prison. Just that, just that emptiness, that thing when he's calling on the phone, and Samuel L. Jackson's like, hey, and he's got this blank stare, and he's just like, and he's got to turn the phone around, and just takes all his effort to hang it up and stuff. So it's just weird how it's like, he's like, it's like you got Robert De Niro in your movie, but he's just playing his most uninteresting character in cinematic history. But like I say, in a way, it's kind of, who would think of that? To get Robert De Niro, like the Robert De Niro, to play just someone who's so empty. Maybe that's a cool stylistic choice. I don't know. Bridget Fonda's kind of sexy, although I do think she possibly is, possibly miscast, although she's, kind of sexy. Michael Keaton, this is when Michael Keaton already was like, had a big, he was already going down, and, his stardom was going down, so this was kind of like he probably hoped to shit. It was like a rejuvenation for him, like, what's his name from Pulp Fiction? John Travolta. I bet Michael J. What's his name? Michael Keaton. I was gonna say Michael J. Fox. Was hoping it'd be a resurgence or a rejuvenating of his career too, but actually it just occurred to me, he never worked with John Travolta again, did he? Tarantino? I don't think so. So anyway, this is a first for a lot of things for Tarantino. 185, no cameo, or at least no visual cameo, which I don't really mind because I find those to be a little, I don't know, not so great, his cameos anyway. So, although his appearance in Reservoir Dogs was, not as annoying because it wasn't like the cameo. He was just like in the back. He was just one of the guys. But so I probably went on way too long. But that's my Jackie Brown review, 2.5 stars. And I guess I just don't want to forget anything. I don't think I am, because there's not terribly a whole lot to forget. So, the violence is very sporadic and, here and there, and it's just, I can't help but thinking it's like he hired someone to make a movie for him and put his name on it. That's what it feels like to me. And it feels like it's not Tarantino's, it's not, this movie doesn't have his 100% attention or something. It just feels so bland compared to what he normally does. It's so serious, it's so, that's all. I've said it before. I've said it over and over and over. So I think I'll stop saying it, and I'll leave the review at that. So thank you very much for watching. Catch you next time.